Ben Doernberg, you've probably heard, there is a national movement, Variety's reporting on it. Oliver Stone, John Cusack warn against NSA surveillance, and I really like Oliver Stone for his courage on JFK, but also saying Obama is a snake worse than Bush because he's able to get stuff over on people. As Cynthia McKinney says, a more effective of evils. And he joins us to talk about this big demonstration that's coming up. Ben Doernberg of rally.stopwatchingus.us. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you so much for having me, Alex.
Wow, you've got the floor, sir. Tell us about what's coming up and why your group has coalesced around the Fourth Amendment.
Absolutely. So the Rally Against Mass Surveillance, which is rally.stopwatching.us, is going to be the largest rally in U.S. history against surveillance and for our right to privacy. And so it's literally hundreds of groups. So we've got everyone from the ACLU to Reddit to Young Americans for Liberty and the Libertarian Party. So the rally is going to be in D.C. at noon tomorrow at Union Station. And we've got NSA whistleblowers speaking. Someone's going to be reading a new statement from Edward Snowden, who endorsed the rally. We're going to have Thomas Drake, Representative Justin Amash, who was the Libertarian congressman who introduced the bill that almost cut funding for the NSA's phone record program, and as well as a whole lot of other speakers. So it's, you know, if you're going to take a few hours out of your life to do anything on the NSA issue and try and get them to stop surveilling every American, this is the time to do it.
Certainly, and now we learn that it's public figures all over the world for blackmailing purposes. We learn this is something that makes the Stasi blush. What do you personally think of, from just a year ago, you were a kook if you said we're being spied on, to now we know Edward Snowden has exposed everything is basically recorded?
Yeah, well, that's why this rally is so important, because, you know, before it was a thing where, yeah, some of us knew that things like this were going on, and it was, yeah, people were called kooks, and now it's at the point where now everyone knows it's going on, and if we don't take a stand now, then I think the takeaway is going to be that, oh, the American people must be okay with this, and you know, we can't live in a free country if every action, every website we visit, every email we send, every phone call we make is being surveilled. It's not compatible with the Constitution, and it's not compatible with the kind of life that we want to live.
Well, as you said, silence is consent. They will set the precedent for this. We've got to have people prosecuted. You've got bipartisan folks coming out like Marco Rubio. Today it's up on Infowars.com. Dianne Feinstein last week saying it's no big deal. Everything gets spied on. Big deal. It's like, oh, you know, it's big deal. You know, everybody knows the Nazis spy on you. I mean, it's so unprecedented how they're trying to hide all this in plain view.
Yeah, well, Dianne Feinstein said that this wasn't surveillance, what they're doing. And Edward Snowden actually came straight out and just said, you know, what are you talking about? But that's so that this coalition, the Stop Watching Us coalition, we have three things that we're asking for. One is to make it explicitly illegal for these sort of blanket surveillance programs. And then step two, what you're talking about, is accountability for public officials who've lied to Congress or to the American people. So when you look at, you know, for me personally, I think one of the most upsetting things is just watching that video of General Clapper straight lying to the Senate, and with no consequences. You know, he didn't even lose his job, let alone, you know, it's a crime to lie to Congress. So I think, you know, people are outraged. And so it's just a question of, as you mentioned a few minutes ago, it's, you know, you can't just stay on cyberspace. You got to, you know, get up and you know, take to the streets and do something about it. So, you know, I hope everyone on the East Coast is able to make it to D.C. You know, like I said, it's rally.stopwatching.us, and this is going to be the biggest rally against surveillance in the history of the United States. And
after you leave us, we got one more segment where we're going to play that video clip, a very, very powerful little 3-minute report. But again, tell folks the date who aren't in cyberspace by choice. Tell folks the date of the rally again.
Yes. So it is tomorrow, Saturday at noon at Union Station in D.C. And for more information, rally.stopwatching.us. Thanks so much for having me, Alex.
No, you bet. You bet. Thank you so much. Well, hold on. I want to come right back to you and have a few other questions. Then we're going to play that clip, because I want to talk about people that aren't on the East Coast. If you can't go tomorrow, call the media, make them be there. That's what's really important. Why is nascent iodine so important?
Nascent iodine is so important because it goes directly to the thyroid. It's not bonded to a salt, which means it doesn't have to be broken down, and it's the most usable form. It's what the body uses. It's what the body is designed to use. If you have low energy levels, if you have pains, if you have thyroid problems, if you don't feel up to par, well, they've proven now that the fluoride and a lack of iodine causes a decreased IQ because you have all this stuff that builds up inside your system and builds up and builds up. And that's why some people, when they start taking iodine, will have what's called a Herxheimer reaction or a detoxification reaction. But that's a good sign. That means you're detoxifying all that fluoride buildup, the mercury buildup in there, the bromine buildup in your system, and the chlorine buildup in your system. You don't want those things. All of those things have been proven as carcinogens. That's one of the reasons prostate cancer is on the rise too, is because prostate takes up iodine, and the men that are lacking iodine causes the prostate to become cystic and causes the prostate to swell and eventually leads to prostate cancer. There's been an extreme rise in polycystic ovarian disease, PCOS, with women, fibrocystic breast disease, because iodine is stored in the breast tissue, the ovaries, the prostate glands in men. It's utilized by every single cell in the body.
Why does this almost taste good compared to other iodine that tastes horrible? That's because it's real iodine atomic form.
We wanted something that's going to go straight into the bloodstream and straight into the thyroid gland. We wanted to put it in a vegetable glycerin base. That's a USP kosher certified vegetable glycerin base. And that product is not tested on animals. It's vegan friendly. It's gluten free. It's GMO free.
Of all the things I've done, Nascent iodine was just absolutely amazing. So we developed with Dr. Group a double strength, low price. InfoWarsLife.com, Survival Shield, the Atomic Nascent Iodine, available right now. Ben Doernberg, National Chair, Restore the Fourth, Grassroots National Movement to End NSA Mass Surveillance. There's a video we're going to play later after he leaves us called Stop Spying on Us. What's the exact name of it, guys? Stop Watching Us. And you know, he even corrected me. It was worse than what I said when I paraphrased her as saying the spying's no big deal. She said something even more Orwellian, Dianne Feinstein, a couple days ago. She said, this is not surveillance. This is the very essence of the purest surveillance without a warrant. That's surveillance. It's just it's warranted surveillance. This is unwarranted mass dragnet, and it is incredible living in 1984, my friend.
It's just, you know, we didn't think this was, you know, I didn't think people would with a straight face, you know, claim that this isn't surveillance. I mean, it is crazy, but you know, I think what we're really seeing is with this coalition. You know, there are a lot of groups in the United States that are influential and just aren't going to stand for it. And so I think you're seeing a really interesting alliance between traditional civil liberties groups like the ACLU, internet freedom groups like the EFF, Mozilla, as well as libertarian groups like Young Americans for Liberty and Students for Liberty and Libertarian Party. And, you know, I think as well as my group, Restore the Fourth. And I think what you're going to see is that there is this coalition forming of people who aren't going to stand for this.
Well, I agree. And as you mentioned, there's going to be free market solutions as huge inventions get rolled out and fortunes are made countering this. Mozilla's Light Beam tool will expose who is looking over your shoulder on the web. So many other exciting things being developed. So, you know, the fact that this has been exposed and that now they have to admit this is happening, I think this is the beginning of the end. Plus, their spying is so great. The new data center keeps catching on fire. I mean, literally, the lines are burning up. They're stealing so much data.
Yeah, well, you'll love this, Alex. So the Restore the Fourth Utah chapter, actually, you know how you can do adopt a highway?
Yes.
They adopted the highway right outside the NSA's data center. So,
I saw that,
there's a sign that says Restore the Fourth, and they get to go out there in their T-shirts and hold signs while they pick up trash. So, yeah, I mean, you know, that's the thing is there's so many problems. You know, it's immoral what they're doing. It's unconstitutional. It doesn't even fit the laws that they're claiming it fits under, and it also doesn't work. I mean, we've seen, you know, time and time again that when you try and throw this amount of data in one place, you can't figure anything out from it. You're just avalanched in data, and apparently, you know, the hardware can't even handle it. So you know, it doesn't work. It's illegal. It's immoral. It's unconstitutional. And so I think this rally is going to be the first step in really.
And then meanwhile, big banks are laundering drug money, not getting in trouble. All this corruption's hiding in plain view, and they won't do anything about that. They're using it to try to control markets. They're giving it to select corporations. It's the industrial sabotage and the unfair trade advantage of the Fortune 100 being able to get this data, and that's on record. That's the real lawsuits right there.
We've seen that we're spying on other countries, not just their military leaders, not just their presidents, but also on their businesses, for economic advantage. And so, I think many times when these programs get defended as being against terrorism, they're also being used for economic advantages and for political advantages.
I totally agree. Plus, the globalists that run our country aren't even giving us, the American people, the fruits of the stolen data. They're offshoring the stuff they steal from the Europeans to China. It's amazing. Well, we want to cover, obviously, Sunday when I'm back on, what you do tomorrow. And folks can find out about the demonstration in D.C.
So can I just real quickly, folks can watch the live stream of the rally tomorrow on the rally website. And if people want a T-shirt or they want to chip in a few bucks on rally.stopwatching.us, there's an Indiegogo campaign that people can contribute to and get a T-shirt.
All right. Godspeed, Ben. We're going to get an update from you soon. Thank you.
Now you can watch Alex Jones live at Infowars.com/show.
You'll find links to all of our content there and a free 15-day trial for Prison Planet TV.
You can also browse the network, the Infowars Nightly News,
and over 60 movies and documentaries all together in one place.
You can watch the Alex Jones radio show live as it happens.
So check it out, Infowars.com/show.